So hello to this VOD review. We will be reviewing Naniato playing on the Serial account, which is this Baptiste. We have already watched 2 VOD reviews from Serial up till now. On the first one, we identified that the biggest mistake was basically about the lamps, the immunity field. The first task was for Naniato to observe if her immunity fields were useful or not, so she doesn't spam them just because she reloads or something, but really use them when something's about to die. And the second task from last VOD review is, was an explanation of power positions, why they're useful, what they do, and that she should basically try to fight more for power positions and use power positions for her own advantage and force enemies to use resources to push her out of power positions. So the first task of this VOD review will be to find out if the power positions are utilized in some shape or form. And then, of course, we can look out for different mistakes that she does. During this VOD review, I want to firstly explain how this VOD review is to be used. Like, I will probably mention several things, but not all of them are essential, I would say. So one example is that, for example, if we now see that her right click is not hitting enemies, allies, to heal them, then of course you can start working on your aim and say, oh, now you need to aim train your right click. But instead, you could also just say, well, try to optimize your gameplay, so hitting your right click is actually easier before you start optimizing your aim. So because if you just go to high ground, it's easier to hit. So the first thing is to understand what went wrong. And the second thing is to understand why it went wrong. But there will be several mistakes. This is a game, I think, around bronze 1 level, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but somewhere around this level, maybe silver 5, maybe bronze 1, somewhere there. And the thing is, there will be a lot of mistakes, a lot of things you can correct, a lot of things you can do different. And I will talk about them in chronological order, but in the end, that is the important thing. We will limit it down to one major flaw in the gameplay, and we want to really understand what's missing in the knowledge or understanding of the game, and really explain as good as I can, to best of my ability, how which theory applies. Because this understanding does not add like an additional task in the game, because we don't want to make the game hard, we want to make the game easier. That is the main thing about VOD reviews. It's not only about just playing better, it's making the game easier. And this is the one thing we want to summarize in the end. So this is the important thing about this entire VOD review. This game's not very long, so we will not talk too much, but just keep in mind that the things I say during this VOD review are not necessarily the things that the Naniato or Serial should focus on now, but the one topic we want to talk in the end. And we want to list which knowledge or understanding is missing and explain it. And we want to see examples in-game of it. And we want to formulate kind of a training for her next games. How can she train it, really? Because you need not only the knowledge, you need to transfer this knowledge into your game. And there are also always some questions circling around this topic I want to explain as well, about the motivation. Why do you want to actually train the game? Like, why would you try hard in a game? Like, do you want more SR? Is it important for your life? Well, the short answer is no. Your game is not more fun if you are in Diamond 3 or Gold 1 or wherever. It's the same game. It's you will get ranked. You will get placed in games where you have 50-50 win chance. Your teammates around you, the enemies around you are as strong as you are. The game stays the same. There's actually not strictly an inherent reason why you would want to be better. The reason why this VOD reviewing and improving stuff is good is because it gives the player something to focus on in the games that depends purely on the player, purely on their own skill. And that is the important thing, because this is what gives fun. Your brain works like with dopamine as a reward factor, which means if you do something good, you have success, you are euphoric, you succeed in something, you get dopamine, your brain likes dopamine, it tries to repeat the things that triggered this dopamine release, basically. But you have somewhat of a control with your will of what you want to achieve and what releases this dopamine. Like, if I say I'm successful because I won a game, then I will get dopamine released if I have won a game. And I will get no dopamine if I lost a game. Which basically means I will have fun only if I win the game and will not have fun if I'm losing the game. Now the problem is that you have no control if you win the game or not. Well, not no control, but it's limited control. You are responsible for only 1/10 of basically all players. So 9 out of 10 players are outside of your control. The map is outside of your control. If the server crashes, it's outside of your control. If your teammates leave, if they throw, if the enemies are just smurfing, you have no control. And so you're setting yourself up for a situation where you're kinda addicted to the game for the dopamine release if you win the game, but it feels hollow because the things you're doing are not the rewarding thing, basically. Because the matchmaking will match you to 50-50 win rate. And so you kind of start the game to have fun, but in the end it's a hollow experience because your actions do not transfer directly to your dopamine release. Like your brain doesn't have a guidance what to do to actually make it happen. Because if you play better, you just get matched against better players. So you are kind of trading in the same place from point of view of your brain. And it leaves you into a really bad place, I would say. So what you should instead is try to get your dopamine release connected to something that you can actually control. Like, have you hit your lamp? Did you win the 1 versus 1? Nah, not even did you win the 1 versus 1, but did you play the 1 versus 1 where you think, oh, I played good in this 1-on-1, even if you died? Like, even if you play against ML7, but you manage to sleep him, hit a sleep dart on him, even if you lose the entire game, it still can be a rewarding experience. And this is what gives you a sort of fun that's depending on your own ability, and it's what makes the game more fun. And not like a crippling addiction, but kind of something worthwhile, basically. And that is, I want to give you as one of the main motivations why VOD reviewing and learning things is actually quite good for you and your own fun, and also your personal growth, of course, so because you're kind of in a healthier place in general. So with all that said, let's see this VOD review. If you start the VOD review, press B, scroll down, set the time skip interval, something between 10 and 5. I like kind of 7 or 8. Kind of, yeah, felt good. And also, you can also always watch it in fast speed. And we'll talk a little bit later about how to transition from understanding something to using it in-game. But let's now just watch the game. So, Neto is not in Discord, so we're basically alone. Maybe I should kind of say that the character on the top right is a Moira, which you can't see right now, the Dr. Happy face, because of my logo. Haha. So we have a team of Reaper, Reinhardt, Baptiste, Soldier, and Moira. So what is our plan here? The team composition itself doesn't matter too much, honestly, because we're in a rather low elo. So it can happen that our Reaper goes on the solo flex. It can happen that Reaper walks in with Rein. It can happen that a Soldier will fight on the last corner of the map he can find. It can be that he will be straight down on main and just hold left click. It can be that Moira will fade to then 1 versus 5 into enemy team and try to suck them dry. Or it might be that Moira is a heal bot. Everything can happen, so it's really hard to actually define your tactic depending on your team. But in general, what you want to do. Hey Machine, welcome to the stream. We're currently doing a VOD review of a Nanyato playing on a serial. So what do you want to do with the team composition? You want to be on power positions where it's easy for you to get an outlook on most of your team, like the teammates that are really active fighting, that are kind of in the risk of dying, so you can hit your right click, your lamps on them, but also see enemies that you can left click, basically. And so we should orient around our right, so if our teammates overextend too hard, you kind of need to be a little bit more aggressive, but you kind of want to just take first orientation around the Reinhardt. You need to really see how they play out in this instance. So here we see already a wide spread of teammates. They are from left to right, everyone in a different corner, and the power position is already occupied by the enemy Junkrat. So the thing is here we were a little bit too slow, Junkrat was faster. So if we would have been on the high ground first, we could have defended it and just left click the Junkrat a little bit first. Because remember, you don't need to kill the Junkrat. If you hit him once, he will be too scared to jump to high ground until he's healed again. So just left-clicking him once is already sufficient to deny him his power position. And he has the same nades as Baptiste has, like he wants to shoot from top down, like Baptiste. So it gets easier for him to hit his nades, like for you. So it's already a mini loss on this Junkrat, and already going high ground and one versus one-ing the Junkrat, just push him out of high ground, could be something we can just do. Just go and kill the Junkrat. It's totally feasible. You will use all your cooldowns for it, so it's a little bit iffy. Oh, but well, you know, a Junkrat that's sitting on low ground can only left-click the Reinhardt's shield. It's really hard for him to win against the soldier, but if he's on high ground, he's actually a really big threat. And so instead of healing your teammates, you can keep your team alive, but just punishing the Junkrat, especially now since he's lost. But again, keep in mind this is just an option, not something you want to do now. And we actually go for the power position contest, which I kind of like. And as we can see here, because of Lamp, we can win every 1-on-1 easily. So that was awesome. Kind of sloppy execution, but it's perfectly fine. This execution will get better if you just do it sometimes. You just need to train it. Just do it sometimes and then you will get better at it. It's as simple as that. Even if Zero would have died here, it would have been still an okay-ish play. Well, because look at the health of our teammates. They are kind of perfectly healthy. Why? Because the only threat that was overextending basically on the power position was the Junkrat. Now he's gone. So what are the enemies going to do? Shoot the overextending Reaper. Yeah, probably they will shoot the overextending Reaper. No, but we have Orion with a shield. So that's already setting up for success in this case. It was awesome. Well done, Ethereal. Thumbs up. Could have reloaded here. Could have done a lot of things. There's minor things. Don't worry about them. Now, now, what is about this position to be said? Now we have our power position. Now, what do we do with it? Now, the thing here is that now, what do we see here? We see 3 enemies. And not a single teammate. The only way Nato Ethereal can now see a teammate is by overextending even further into 3 enemies. And this is a little bit iffy. So how could Ethereal have avoided this position? Well, the first thing is figure out that this position is bad. Why? Because you don't see anything. Like you said, you want a position where you can have an easy overview over your teammates. Do you have an easy overview of your teammates? No, you need to rotate 360 degree like a siren on a light tower or something to see everyone. Like, this is not an easy position to heal, right? This is terribly difficult. Like, you need to APM of 6000 of heal everything. Like, this would be already a little bit easier. Here you can easily see 2. Maybe the third one a little bit. And this one gets even easier. So here you can flick a little bit to the soldier. Well, maybe this one is easier. So somewhere around here is maybe a little bit easier, I would say. And you have still access to some enemies. You can here go to cover, or you can isolate angle on the enemy. So a little bit further to the left is just a little bit easier position. Why? Because if you just look at this, okay, imagine you stand, you jump up as Baptiste on this statue. I don't know if you can actually. And look at this. Is it now easier or harder to heal and damage? Yeah, it's a little bit easier. If you are here, is it easier or harder to? Yeah, well, it's harder. Well, if you are here, yeah, well, healing is actually also kind of okay as long as soldier doesn't take damage. So maybe it's also okay. What about here? Yeah, well, you see everything, but you're kind of in the open, right? So you can just fly through positions and just see harder, easier or harder, and just find the easiest position. It's really not about, oh, here you have the most pressure and you know, here you have the pressure and divine charges and shields and Moira Fates and whatever, you can do things. No, it's far too many. Just go with your gut instinct. Is it easier or harder? It's really as simple as that. Easier or harder. Okay? So a little bit more to the left would have been easier. So if you are Ethereal, then you scroll back, watch the sequence again. You walk in here. You see a junk, you get bloodthirsty. You one the junk. You kill the junk, and this is now the critical moment. You have the one versus one versus the Junkrat. What do you want to do, chat? Can you tell me what you should do if you are Ethereal in this position? What is the next task that you want to achieve? You have just left-clicked the Junkrat to death. Well, don't accept teabagging, of course. Of course, we should teabag the Junkrat totally because we lost a 1-on-1 versus support. So teabag the Junkrat. But besides teabagging the Junkrat, what should Ethereal do? By the way, while we are waiting for chat, Mr. Machine, I will do some 1 or 2 VOD reviews. And if you're down for it, we can then later play duo ranked, continue our ranked. I still have to do 3 support matches today. Or 2, I'm not sure, 2 or 3. So I hope you're down for that one. I know you still want to also work a little bit on your tank. But just if you're available later, then we can gladly do. I just started streaming on English today, so we will be on English language. So I don't know what your plans are, but you feel free to inform me. So chat, no one has answered. What is Ethereal to do? The answer is easy. We don't know, right? We see a Moira with full HP. That's all information we have right now. We know we are low on the resources. We know we don't have cooldowns. Welches Pokémon ist das? Yeah. So we need information. That's strictly everything we need right now. So we need to go to safety and look around. We see a soldier, we see a Moira, we see a Rhine. We can peek, a horse. We can peek right side or enemies. We can peek left side. We can drop down wherever. We just need to find a position where we can see something. Just a little bit more information. So just scout, basically. So whenever in doubt, because you clearly don't have, if you look at the screen, you clearly don't have any information about what is going on in the fight whatsoever. Because remember, if you go for a 1 versus 1, you fully focus on the 1 versus 1. Like you can expect from a Bronze 1 player that he plays a 1 versus 1 and takes note of all positions of all teammates and the right shield and far too much. You don't even read the kill feed in that moment. You just see, oh, a 1 versus 1, and now you take a look around what's going on. And as I said, we oriented around Reinhardt, so we should have seen our Reinhardt. Find your main tank. This is what I would say. Find your main tank, or if main tank is dead, the next closest thing to a main tank, which would then be the Reaper. But right now, Rhine is still alive, so we would see, oh, there's my Rhine, and then you draw a line where your Rhine is on the map. So if you look from above, Rhine's on this corner, so you would draw a line here somewhere. Okay, and this is the space you currently have. You can argue, okay, maybe use a corner, so the line would be here. So actually, the line should be at this corner, realistically. You can say, okay, but there is a horse, so the line should go in this direction or something. But you know, somewhere here. But it doesn't matter in which orientation you draw the line here. This Baptiste is out of position, basically, because he did not orient around his tank. So after doing such a thing, let's winning this teamfight, orient around your tank again. Let's reorient. I mean, I kind of understand what went wrong, because you oriented around, you saw the Reaper going in, and then you just held left click on the Reaper. But realistically, this Reaper is beyond saving. Oh, we don't even try too hard, right? Yeah, so try to find where your main tank is and try to reorient at some moment. That's the main thing. We were out in the open, and why were we out in the open? Because we kind of took a hard position to fight. Like, of course, you could jiggle peek, like heal, 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 or you can crouch spam. You can see it because you see that in my nose, crouch spam to heal also works. But why make his life so hard? Just go here. And if you orient around the tank, you land here automatically. And that's the main thing. You land there automatically without thinking. Okay. We'll talk about that topic later. How to actually make games easier. I can scroll forward. So we go to this. We go to this fight. We all seen the information. What do we see? Soldier is dead. Teamfight is cuffed. So there is two things in such situations. Like, you come back from spawn, you come into whatever situation. You first need to understand, is the situation salvageable at all? Because if the answer is no, you don't heal. Again, a little bit too high of concept. Naniato, don't listen to this. It's irrelevant for Bronze 1. It's more like of a higher level concept. But in this instance, like if you had all the information from the player view, like you know the soldier is dead but Bap is low, then it's clear you need a kill right now in the next 3 seconds to make your team come back into this team fight. And so you can do two things. Either you support someone that's about to kill someone, which might be the Rhine, which might be the Reaper, you don't know, because you are here. So you just make a decision, Rhine or Reaper, and then you go either right and heal Reaper or left and heal Rhine. In this elo, usually the Reaper is a little bit more of a safe bet. Because Reaper is really good at deleting things if he's already at close range. But if Reaper would be kind of like at this corner instead of this corner, then I would rather bet on Rhine. So it's just something. And the second thing is then, of course, speed. You need to reach the very first thing you should reach, and this is clearly the Reaper. So in this case, the Reaper would have won out, because here you actually need to walk along before you can see them, and it would only make sense if the teammates would actually walk backwards, which doesn't happen in anything below Masters, basically. Teammates, they either are so passive that they're irrelevant anyway, or they do not reset. Yeah, and so imagine here now the lamppost hit, your Rhine would live 10 seconds longer. What would you gain? Yeah, nothing. You just need 10 seconds longer until you regroup. So going in here on the junk rate and dying with the robot is totally viable. That's fully okay. Just go to the robot so he doesn't get pushed and kill the junk rate. Like you killed him once, kill him a second time, maybe he gets demoralized. Perfect. And there's nothing to win here. To make it a little bit faster. So we hump a little bit the corner. Our soldier is back. He doesn't suicide, that's good. So there is a special case to be made because we are Baptiste and the enemies cannot one-shot us as enemies. So you technically you could peek here, try to shoot something. And this is now a little bit of a special topic because peeking here and shooting something is a throw. In this case, and that is a good thing. We want to peek and shoot and throw the game at this point to understand what we can do and what we cannot do. Because we have cooldowns, we think, oh, we can peek here, we can left click something, and yeah, well, if Ashe hits us, we just go in here because there's a health pack and we have cooldowns. If junk red jumps onto us, we have immunity field. The big thing is that it costs us more than we would think it costs us. Because what it would mean is that we do a tiny bit of damage, but in return, we will burn all our cooldowns right before the fight starts. Okay? So in general, to win this team fight, it's a bad idea, but to learn the game, it's a good idea. That's the thing here. So if I would try to improve my 1v1 capabilities in Baptiste, I would totally peek this and just die and lose the game. Because realistically, what is our chance to carry here this fight? There is no chance to carry this fight. Our Rhine is passive, doesn't want to go in. So Moira fights a random kill on Mercy because Moira is already deep, using all her cooldowns and stuff, while our Rhine's fully AFK. Fully random. Like, supporting this guy will not win you the game. That's how it is, because this Rhine is just, well, bronze. And so, yeah, it's like you just cannot carry this fight by playing correctly. In general, you would want to support the most aggressive thing. So let's watch this again. We will hear a soldier, support him, just shoot with him. That gives a soldier confidence that he can shoot here. And then you could set up here the flank on the side with your soldier, while Rhine can be AFK as much as he wants. So, yeah. Just a little bit more aggressiveness wouldn't be too bad here. Like, what are we even doing? Like, they are not taking any damage. But this one is fighting. And if we would have been here instead and peeking, we might lose the game, we might throw the game. But we have a chance to understand when we can carry. Because right here, the idea is, yeah, well, I support my Rhine going in. But that depends on the Rhine going in. Right? And that is actually quite a big topic. Don't expect your teammates to do something. Rather, be in a position where we encourage teammates to do something specific, first. And second, if stuff is already happening, support this aggression instead. And your aggression is clearly Moira. How can you force Rhine to go in? Yeah, well, you drop here, you jump up here. If Rhine sees Baptiste on this stage, he should do something, honestly. Well, if not, then well, everything's lost. And you kind of just need to be more aggressive yourself. Like expecting Reinhardt to go in, nah, doesn't work. But setting up somewhere, that's a tough situation, I understand. And that's why I kind of like this window at this point, because I said, technically it's a throw, this window, but it's really the only option you have here to carry the game. Where are we going even? Well, exploring the map, of course. That's fine. Yeah, and we have done this left clicking a long time ago. And you see, a Reaper goes in, and now Ryan goes behind him. But now we kinda... But we were not ready. Now we need to react, and we need to react badly. Instead, we should have been in a position where we could have supported this type of play as soon as it happens, and not react to it. So like proactive gameplay. The thing with proactive gameplay is, it shouldn't be a type of play which requires your Ryan to go in so that you get value, but rather a play where you can get value by either you left click the enemies yourself, or Ryan goes in and then you support Ryan going in. Rather like something like this, where you can get value even if Ryan does not go in. Because that's the big difference, right? Because right now we would only get value if Ryan goes in, but he didn't, so we didn't get value. Instead we need a position where we... difficult concept, I know. It's kind of... You cannot even define it correctly. Like, how do you know where a proactive position is? Like, yeah, like this. But here, now we are supporting aggression. Instead, look at this. So... Now we're just watching this watch review, so we can just learn from this watch review. So you see, oh, my soldier could actually run up there and support something. As I said, orient around the tank, draw around where the tank is. The tank is AFK, so we cannot do that anymore. And so you see, oh, my soldier runs up there. And now you can think of a proactive play. You can jump up here and have crossfire with the soldier from here. And you can drop back easily. Basically, again, self-famous husband, or you can go up here with a soldier. Just options. And why? Why can we do this risky gameplay? Well, because soldier will get shot first, basically. And if he dies, we lose the teamfight anyway. So, just support aggression and then you're fine. Just don't overdo it. Just be careful with this stuff, so don't go headless all in, but just be careful. But Ryan is really fully AFK. That's really sad to see. Yeah, we should have healed the healer. The Reaper, not the healer. We should have healed the Reaper. Reaper was our frontline thing at the moment. Like, this Ryan will not die. He will shield bot until the fight is lost. Well, the fight is lost now. So ignore the Ryan. He is throwing the game. Kill your Reaper instead. So now the fight is lost, so now our goal is only to survive as long as the payload as possible. Gameplay is good. It's fine. So I have to say the task from previous match were about power positions actually a little bit difficult on this map, I have to say. Because realistically the biggest power position of course is this trainees thing above here. And then you have two additional windows, one here and one here on both sides. And the third one is this high ground, but this is basically suicide if you go into the enemy high ground. So it's a little bit difficult. So the next best thing would be this one, so where you can heal and shoot, but on this map it's a little bit difficult, and Nanyato's doing a great job so far. Again, don't orient around the Ryan, because he has proven that he's useless, right? Don't orient around the Reinhardt. This is good. This is not, because you see Ryan going in. You see Ryan through walls, right? I would totally use my Q here, I don't know why you hesitate, so just Q down. You might have a soldier behind you, have a soldier behind you. You can support your Ryan. Remember, your window increases your healing and your damage output. So you can easily win a 2 versus 5 with your window alone with a Ryan here. Don't hesitate. Place down your window. Perfect. Used it. But because you hesitated so long with the window, you see now we over-ult. And why? Because you ulted too late. With ults, it's a little bit... I think using ult might be actually the topic for today's watch review. So what do we want to do with ults? Especially if you're on bronze 1. You need to use things to train things. You only get better by doing something. And you need to risk wasting your ultimate just to use it more often on your level. Just use it and really see, was it good? Was it bad? But use it as soon, as fast as possible. Just keep throwing out windows like it's candy on Halloween. What's your most aggressive position right now, Mrs. Nanetto? Do you know? Have you seen it? Who should you support right now? Or where should you go? What can you tell me what you should do right now? I can tell you following your Rhine is not the play because the Rhine will push the payload. So you don't need to go payload, you don't need to go to Rhine. High ground. Again, not high ground, but power position. Really, I don't like the term go to high ground, because technically most power positions are the high ground, but this is also high ground. Why is this high ground bad? Why? Because it doesn't provide you anything. You want to go to a position that provides you with many things. And again, power positions give you easy access to team, easy access to damage, easy value out of everything, makes life easier. Power positions. And this window doesn't make anything easier, this train does, okay? So it's not only high ground, but really a power position. And again, if you're on a map where power positions are tough, this can also be a power position. Why? Because you have health pack, you can see your team fighting here, you can left click the enemies, and you can flank. Okay, so this room can also be a power position. Like, because here you don't have any good high ground on your side, so what do you want to do? Yeah, well, then this is the next best power position you have, but it's clearly low ground. So technically, yes, go, but this one, of course, would be better than this one. And again, you see Reaper there, and so Reaper is going for a play, so just supports it. Aggressiveness. Maybe save him. It's fine. Okay, good. Oh, we are trying. I see how you're kind of lagging behind a little bit. Because now, I said in the beginning, orient around the tank. That's where you should start, but you see the tank is useless, so don't orient around the tank anymore. Now you see we have a kill, and why? Because Reaper. Why didn't we support the Reaper is a big question. Why has Reaper a kill but we didn't get an assist? What should we do to get this assist? Yeah, well, at least try to support this guy. Okay, so this is a little bit of special case. It happens often on lower elo. Try to support the most aggressive play. Because if Reaper dies, you are 5 and 4, 4 and 5. Like, you will not win 4 and 5. Like, support the Reaper. If he dies, the fight is lost anyway. So we are reacting now to Reaper being aggressive, but of course reacting is too late. A little bit proactive. Okay, I like this one. Okay, sadly we lost. Unlucky. Yeah. So especially in the moments where there are no enemies, you actually have a lot of time to think where you should be. So especially while you just walk, try to see where the teammates are that you should support. So again, we are coming back to a scuffed fight. So we need to guess what the situation is. Probably everyone is dead, so I would just go to the payload, try to kill something. I really don't know, but yeah, your team is resetting, so it's fine. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, not bad. Your team actually managed to reset and you helped them. That was awesome. Done very well. Huh. Okay. Yeah, well, Blizzard, my game crashed. Awesome. I hope this is not how it will be in my ranked games today. So let's restart. Ah, by the way, I can also start my apps in the meantime. So I do not have to read chat on the screen next time. It's good. Okay. View. We'll start this one also shortly, and then I will be back with a watch review. Oh no. Okay, I can. Okay. This should just run. Yes. Here we have my chat window now. Okay, perfect. I like having a chat window on my smartphone. It makes everything better. So back to the watch review. Not sure where we were actually. So Reaper kills the Ashe. We died to Junkrat. We reset with our team. Everything well done. Okay, we tried to go to Head Reaper, but we failed. A little bit unlucky, well, but we tried the correct thing, so it's fine. That's totally fine. We tried. Not sure why we didn't use our cooldown here. Well, just press shift, so it's not really worth watching, because we just failed our cooldown for no reason. Huh? Okay, minor thing. If you are standing in lamp, you can stop dodging, because you are immune anyway. Rather focus on hitting the enemy. So make only movements that make hitting easier. Don't make dodges that make your aim harder. We have window. Perfect. So you have a really bad habit of making a micro step right before you shoot. And this is really messing up your aim. Which would have been important against the Junkrat duel, against this Ashe and the Mercy right now. So, where do we start watching here? Okay, we tried with the lamp, it's fine. So, where do we start shooting? Okay, let's watch this. You see? How right before you left click the Ashe, you made a step forward and to the right. And that actually shifted your crosshair away from Ashe's head. I don't know if you can see it. But this little step completely messes up your aim. And then again, I need to slow it very much down to see it. You see it? Right before you left click the Ashe, the second shot, you moved. And this type of movement makes your aim really hard. Okay, it's fine. Now here we fight against an Ashe, right? Here's an Ashe. Let's slow it down. Your crosshair was on Ashe, you started strafing to the right side, and that's why the crosshair was not on Ashe anymore. Then you needed to flick to the left, and that flick messed up your aim. Right before you shot, you started to change direction from left to right, and then again, you overflicked. Now you're walking in a straight line backwards, it makes it very easy for the Ashe to hit you, while you actually only mess up your own aim. Well, now you stand still and when you shoot, okay. So here again, micro step to the left, then you flicked. How do you aim? How do you have to move then? Okay, how do you have to move? And let's try to check. We are at 6 minutes 19. Yeah. So, and heroes like Kiriko, Zen, Baptiste. There's... you see my mouse hand? So, you want, in theory, you have your right click, which heals. You have your left click, that damages. Now the thing is, they both do not interfere with each other. You can just spam them both and still have full output of them both. So you want to use them both. Which means you kind of want to left click every single shot. So you aim, click, aim, click, aim, click. So you don't want to keep it pressed all the time and then just track. This is not something, not an aiming technique that's very useful on Baptiste. That's not an aiming technique that's good on Baptiste. Click every single shot. Click, 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 click. Okay? Click. I pressed the wrong button. Some reason loading the menu takes half an hour. I want to show it even better. Give me a second. I hope it still works. I'm not entirely sure, but let's see. Practice range 2.5. Can I make this full screen or does it break? No, it does not break. Perfect. Baptiste, Baptiste, Baptiste. Oink, oink. Wasn't there a spawn tracer button here? Ah. So, harder to hit target. Kind of, you flick your mouse on with your arm in the direction of the target, then you make a micro correction, then you left click when you think you are on it. So you kind of track with your arm, and then right before you click, you make a micro correction with your wrist, and then you left click. That is from your right hand. What you will want to do with your right hand. And always click every single time. So don't keep it pressed like this, because then you always only track basically. Then you never flick. You only track. Now what you do with your dodge. The important thing is that while you shoot, you dodge only one direction. So you cannot see it on my hand. Can I? Does this work? Yeah. So you see, I want to dodge only. So you see my ring finger is moving right. My index finger is moving right. Sorry, ring finger left, right. Okay. So you see me moving like this. Can try to make it a little bit more obvious. So while I'm shooting, I will long strafe only in one direction. Now I switch directions. One direction. Now I switch after shooting. Clicked. Now I change. 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 So before you shoot, you strafe only in one long direction. Now this makes you a little bit easier to hit. But it also makes it easier for you to hit the enemy. And you want to use... And why is this important? Because you want to fight in situations where you already have the advantage over the enemies. So, if you and the enemy hit both the same, kind of have the same skills, like you want to only one-on-one in a situation where you would win anyway. Either because you waste enough of time, or because you can outright kill him. And that's why this technique is actually the correct one. Okay, and if you have this long strafe individual click, then you can try to heal in between shots. Because then you get in the correct rhythm, like shoot, heal, shoot, heal, shoot, heal. Like this is I'm healing this bot now, okay? Shoot, heal, shoot, heal, shoot, heal, shoot, heal, shoot, heal, okay? Shoot, heal, shoot, heal, shoot, heal. It's really awkward hand position, but this is basically how you want to have it. Long strafes in one direction, not very much changing. The thing is, if you are then fighting, healing your team while fighting Hans the Widow, both snipers, then it would look more like this. Right? The game tapped out, okay. I can deactivate Windows button. And like if you fight Hans the Widow, then it looks more like this. And why? Because then staying alive is more important than dealing damage. Because you're basically a heal bot. You cannot risk shooting the Widow Hanzo because they will just snipe you, right? They will win the one-on-one. So you need to dodge as much as you can. But you do not use this dodging movement while fighting a Tracer. Because you win against Tracer by just your abilities. Like, place it down, multi field, left click. Like, how is Tracer supposed to kill you? Like use your shift. Like, you're healing now. How is she supposed to kill you? Like, Tracer will just suffer. Okay? So you don't win by better dodging, but by using abilities and hitting harder. And doing damage fast is more important than denying damage onto yourself as support, basically. That's how it works. So, yeah. And that way, if you dodge right before you shoot, you just mess up your own aim. And as I said, because if you place immunity field, how are you supposed to lose a aim duel against an Ashe? Like, you will not lose it. It's you are much scarier than the Ashe. Every support in Overwatch, as long as they have cooldowns, is stronger than every DPS, basically. Can I zoom forward, please? Please? Hey, Nasty. Welcome to the stream. Welcome out of the lurk. Watched this one already. Especially the strafing forward and backward. Kind of makes it very easy to aim on you while not providing anything useful for you. It's just a bad habit. What happened again? Oh, I think I pressed a button by accident. My mistake. A specific Baptiste trick. And like, these shots are hard to hit. Look at the shots on the soldier again. Here show your micro movements. So, these shots are incredibly hard to hit. How can you make your life easier as Baptiste? To hit this, heal the soldier. Like, what is your chance to actually hit him with a heal net? Yeah, 0. Well, what you can do. The first thing is, you could be on high ground. And then heal the ground below him. Second thing is, you can hit the walls left or right to soldier. You have a area of effect heal, AOE heal, right? So just hitting the walls is easier than hitting the soldier. And third thing, what many Baptistes do is just charge your right click, press right click, and then jump up. Boink. And then you can shoot at the ground right below the soldier. And that makes healing the soldier a lot easier than wasting like 3 shots into nothing. Yeah, and lastly, soldiers getting healed by Morris, not in danger of dying, just kill the Junkrat. Haha. Like, I'm not sure why the entire team is so hyper-focused on this Junkrat. Like, this poor Reinhardt is completely alone. Like, realistically, this soldier and Morris should be cleaning up this Junkrat anyway. And even then, soldier does the right thing and just pushes the front. Because running behind Junkrat is just a suicide, basically, for everyone who has no immunity field. So you're kind of hyper-focused on this Junkrat. Yeah, Nanyato, I know that's too much at once. That's not everything is for you. As I said, I just list every mistake as it comes chronologically. We will talk a little about, after this which is soon, we'll talk about what you specifically should train or could train. Or what you want to train. Yeah, apparently we won. That's, the ending screen in Overwatch 2 is really brutal. I don't know what it is, man. Like, it's just, whoop, gone. Like, what happened? I don't know. Well, Ryan pushed through right in the AC9. Yeah, Ryan pushed through in the AC9. Okay. So that was, yeah, basically many concepts at once. And so let's just list again what we had. We had well, we attacked the Junkrat to high ground, which was awesome. We didn't support the aggression, we kind of supported the AFK Reinhardt, so we played reactively instead of proactive. You need to see my hands, proactive. We kinda used power positions. We just need to explore power positions a little bit more. So like very often you were stuck behind a Reinhardt, and be stuck behind Reinhardt is not a power position. That's a very safe position. We don't want safe positions. We want positions where we are a little bit at risk, but that provide us with the maximum of value. And the enemies need to force us out of power positions. So like who's going to kill you here, right? Who's going to kill you? Yeah, no one. Why are you not here? Why are you not in the face of Orisa? Okay, clearly. It's easier to shoot the Orisa if you're standing here. Well, but a little bit of suicide position, right? So you want to define what's your maximum value here. Well, keeping this bunch alive while shooting at the mid-team. But right now you can't even see your Reinhardt. So your position is really scuffed. Like, this is not a high value position. And just really try to look at 4 positions that makes it easier to win the team fights. And I think that should be also the concept for the next topic. So when you leave spawn, as I said in the beginning, you orient around your tank, but if you notice your tank is AFK, you need to do something better, okay? I was thinking about the entire game, why are we so slow? Let me click again. Why are we so slow? Let's want to shortly look at it. Give me a second, and then we'll talk about the next training lessons. So now comes the important part in a second. So, goes through the right side of the window, it's faster. Everyone's just faster than us. Okay, that's a little bit sad. Oof, that looked very chaotic. Okay. So again, we are back to this position where we said the first thing you need to do is information. Try to figure out who of your team will now take the next biggest attention of the enemy team. Because the enemies will be shooting that one target. In this case, it will be Reaper. Right? Reaper or Moira. But I think Moira will not fight, she would rather run from the horse. So in this case, it's Reaper. So now we need to understand, okay, how... So this is like when you watch your own VOD reviews, and you just think, okay, how could have gotten more value out of this fight? So how do you do this? Let me think. So what went wrong? What went wrong is, we talked about power positions, and we are still stuck here on a position that is, after killing this Junkrat, of course, it is not entirely game winning. We want a more game winning position that are even easier to win the games with. Position that provides us with more value. Right? This is actually not too bad, but this is what went wrong. Our positions are still a little bit too passive. Why did it went wrong? Well, because we mostly positioned once in the team fight and then stayed there, and we oriented around Reinhardt, which is a very passive teammate. And we need to go from always following the main tank. We need to switch to find a position that gives us most value in general. So the main tank gives us some form of orientation. But again, this is just orientation. This is not a fixed rule. And that's the main takeaway here. And this is the lack of understanding, I'd say. So, I would say, so if you're kind of like bronze 5 player that needs some orientation, then I would say follow the main tank. But we are beyond this step, right? We are now good at understanding where our main tank is and following the main tank. We have learned that, and now we need to build on top of this one. We need to get better on top of this one. So this is where we are now. And what we build on top of this one is understand where the main tank is, but also understand what is a teammate the biggest aggression that we have on this map. Sometimes the biggest aggression will be the main tank. No, Tracy, we are still in the process of explaining, so it's not expected to have learned something yet. So sometimes the biggest aggression will be the main tank, but not always, right? Sometimes it will be the Moira, sometimes it will be the Reaper. Especially the lower you go, the more people do random things. Then you can watch, I will upload the YouTube video, don't worry. You can just watch the YouTube video later anytime. So it's not like, it's a one-time explanation. If you miss it, you will never hear it again. Like, you can just replay it 5,000 times if you like my voice so much. And I can also just re-explain it. With what if you don't be afraid to just resend the next game with the same question. It's okay, I can explain it a second time. It doesn't matter. It's not like I explained it once and then I expect you to do it perfectly. Like, just try it out, and then if it works, it works. If not, then I'll just send the watch review again and we talk about it again. It's not a problem. Like, don't be afraid. It's I can repeat it 5,000 times. It does in this specific game. We really see a lot that our tank is really AFK and our DPS are really pushing hard, and we need to kind of switch into a proactive mindset to support the biggest aggression on our team. And that's the main thing, that you need to look around and understand what is my biggest aggression, which is in this case Reaper, and you want to support the Reaper. And then you watch your water review and say, okay, how could I have support this Reaper best? Well, in this case, yeah, well, where you are is fine, just throw a lamp, right? Or just throw a right click rather. Like, don't heal the main tank, he's useless. Heal the Reaper instead. And that is a mental switch you need to do to understand to not heal the main tank because the main tank, but heal what's the biggest aggression in your team is. So this was this team fight. We did not heal the Reaper, even though he was most aggressive. And because Reaper died, now we got the attention, and then we lost. But we didn't get, like, you could also now improve your positioning and stuff. But your power position was not powerful enough. You did not position in a way where you could support the Reaper. It was still too passive. Because your teammates out-aggressed you, basically. So this teamfight doesn't matter, there is no power position to be gained because everyone's dead. Now this teamfight. Who is the most aggressive teamfight? Yeah, the soldier, you have support soldier, perfect. Well done, this is what we want. Here, like this, like this. How do I make a plus sign? Okay. Who is the most aggressive teammate? Yeah, well, how many teammates do you even see? Only 2 and they are both AFK. Like, don't support AFK teammates. Like, don't even stop to heal them. Like, they do not matter. Just look around, what is going on, and if all teammates are AFK, then you are the aggressive teams, and you go and be aggressive. But here you have an aggressive Moira, so, yeah, support the Moira. Like, pause the game at this moment and see, okay, how could I have supported the Moira? Then you see, could I have shoot from here? Could I have healed her from here? Could I have healed her from here? Do I need to cross to this train? Really just go to each position that you could realistically get, and then just shortly look, how could I have supported this Moira? In this case, the biggest support you can give for Moira is shoot at enemies. Like, some enemies shoot at you, some enemies shoot at Moira, that's the biggest help you can give to this Moira. Because realistically, your Moira is already taking damage, so you want to get a piece of that cake. Do something. Right here, you are doing nothing. Like, you're holding right click on the main thing, but because main thing is doing nothing, you're also doing nothing, so you're entirely useless for this Moira right now. But Moira is doing something, so help this Moira. Just pause the water review and see, okay, if I would have burned here, I could have supported this Moira. And this is just something you need to notice again, like, just notice it for now. Just see, pause the water review, see, oh, this would have been good, and notice it. We will talk in a second why noticing it is important. Is this good? Is something more aggressive? No. Perfect. Need to keep care of Ryan, of Reaper. What would we see here? Our team's already here. We are here, so they will outrun us in a second. So we need already be thinking where to go next. So this is just too late. We need to start walking forward already. This is too late. Now, who's most aggressive? Soldier. How could I have supported the soldier? Well, in this case, it's easy. Just go with him and help him. Easy to reach position. Perfect. Yeah, this I liked. Okay, the soldier went back. Now your team needs you. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Who's most aggressive? Reaper. Are we helping the Reaper? No. Clearly need to go and help the Reaper. Are we helping the Reaper? No. If you would have noticed this Reaper, like, let's pretend we would be in a position like up here, where we can see the soldier and heal him easily, and see our team at the same time, roughly. Like, we are in this high ground position, we can see both and support both. Like, oh, fighting, I help him. I help him. I see Reaper port, so then I can go and jump up here. Reaper walks forward. I can go with him. Like we just stand here and wait until someone actually goes and does something, or we go forward proactively, and then we would be here with our soldier, and then would also heal. That would also possible. Like, either be proactive and go in up with soldier, or allow the soldier to go up here, because he would see the Baptiste, he would also be here, and all you see now is the Reaper. So you now need to follow the Reaper. Because if you would know the Reaper is there, you wouldn't even heal these guys, they are completely irrelevant to the fight. Your Reaper is important now, not these guys. Hey, Reaper died, team fight lost. GG. Yeah, the rest doesn't matter so much, because we lost the Reaper. We go fast forward here as well. Yeah, this is good. Why? Because our teammates are aggressive, but we are aggressing with them, we are aggressing with Ryan. So it's good. You know what to rain same. Perfect. You're very welcome, Mrs. Nagneto. And just understand what is the most aggressive thing here. Okay, so here we did it perfectly, that was good. A little bit faster ult, but that's fine. Now here our Reaper is aggressing, but we are aggressing with him, we are fighting this Junkrat, it's perfect. It was good. Now here team fight's lost, we don't want to aggress, we want to reset, and our teammates are resetting with us, it's perfect. Okay, the enemies are using ults and stuff, so not aggressing here is kinda understandable. Because the biggest aggression is now the enemy Junkrat's wheel, which we need to avoid first, and this is what we do, so that's good. That's where your full attention is. In general, try to not hide from wheels, try to shoot wheels, okay? Junkrat tires need to be shot at. That's one thing I would change. Just always shoot Junkrat tires. It doesn't matter what you play, always shoot Junkrat tires. Now we try to support our Reaper, we just failed, so that's fine. Scuffed fight. Okay, we go to here. What is the most aggressive thing? Up there. Are we helping it? Somewhat, but we need to walk a little bit closer, but that's what we are doing, right? There's not really a point in walking backwards here. Like, I understand it, and on higher play I would support it to play this corner instead of just being open where the soldier is. But realistically, you want to walk up, so you would want to walk up to this corner or even really go high ground here. Because the thing is, it's really hard to heal Reinhardt uphill with Baptiste. So left side flank would also be okay, but it would be taking too long now. You would need to prepare it beforehand. So in general, on higher level play, I would say, okay, this may be okay, but you need to try to be a little bit more forward. But you walk forward and backward. Like, what are you scared of? Your Reinhardt dying, not you. Your soldiers dying, not you. Like, you are not dying. Like, you don't need all this distance. Yeah, here's a little bit tough now, because of course soldiers are aggressing and Ryan is aggressing, and realistically, hey Shakas, welcome to the stream. We're currently wrapping up Nanyeto's VOD review of playing Baptiste. Currently the task is to figure out who is the biggest aggression on our team and try how to support this aggression. So now we have two aggressions, Ryan and so Reaper, of course, not Ryan. Ryan's an AFK bot, like Reaper and Soldier are the big two aggressing factors right now. And realistically, for this level, it doesn't matter. Both are aggressing, support any one of them, it's fine. So we are trying to figure out what to do with Junkrat, but now we see soldiers going away, so now our aggression should switch to forward as well. So either we go in and kill our Junkrat ourselves, or we go forward. And but this fight is roughly over. Pass. Yeah, so who is aggressing? Reaper. Why are we so far back? Are we still running to the fight? Yeah. Yeah, so we are kind of still trying to keep our distance for some reason, but it's really not necessary. Like, this Baptiste will never shoot you back there with a Reaper right in his face, right? So again, try to support what's most forward. But in general, you could say you can just also shoot Mercy, so you do not, like, in an entire broad situation, you do not need to aggress the most focused forward one, because as I said, if you keep some enemies from looking into your Reaper by shooting at them, you also help your Reaper. It's not like you need to pump heals into your Reaper, you just need to aggress with your Reaper. So you're also in the fight, in the mix, together with your Reaper, at the timing when your Reaper is aggressing. That's the important thing. Yeah, Shakas, by the way, we have us in Discord, this is Ballerbude channel. Everyone who's watching in Twitch or on YouTube, feel free to VOD reviews are open for anyone, as long as there are not so many. So just post your replay code, I will take a look at it. Any role, any game. Of course, if the game is something I know, it's more useful. But even for something useless, like something I am useless, like Dota, I cannot play Dota, like but I can still provide you a useful VOD review. I can explain in a second why. So right now, for Nanyato, I think we have explained the topic. So which type of knowledge is missing? Well, that your main tank is not always the most aggressing part, but sometimes your teammates are aggressing. So this is what went wrong, or why it went wrong. What went wrong is, of course, that we didn't support the most aggressive thing of our team. So a Reaper died while we were AFK, heal botting the Rhine. So we discussed these 2 points, what and why. And now we went through examples of how you can look at it yourself in your own VOD reviews and how to see it. And Klakas also, it will go live on YouTube. So if you want to watch the entire VOD review, just go over to YouTube. It will be there. And now we want to define a training. Now, for this training, we need to change one behavior, and that is scouting. At some moment, in between your matches, you need to stop and look around. What's actually going on? Like, because we default to walk behind our main tank, and we do not look around enough. And that is one thing that is required for this to happen. So it's, you cannot just say, oh, go and support the Reaper if you don't know where the Reaper is in Naniato. And this is very important. I hope you're still on the computer. Like at some moments, like if I go to a random spot on the map, where's my Naniato? Here. Where is Reaper? Where is the Reaper? Okay. And probably in spawn. Yeah, well, terrible place. Okay, different spot. We just died. Okay, like here. Like, where's our Reaper? He's up there. We did not see when he went there. And so what we are missing most right now is information. Like, where is Soldier? Where is he even? Where is Reaper? Like, you cannot support the most aggressive play if you don't even know where your teammates are. So in situations like this, where you have nothing to do, it's very critical that you start implementing, looking around. Get more information. Now, I said we want to make the game easier, not harder, but this is something you need to add additionally to your gameplay. And that is tough, okay? The thing is, only add this scouting while you're doing nothing. And the biggest thing here is you will need some games to remember to get used to it. There are some learning techniques like you put up a timer which goes off every 30 seconds to hear a sound, and every time you hear a sound you start looking around. That would be possible. Some people, it helps some people, but you could also just try to focus on scouting. Like every time you are not busy doing anything, you just scout. Like scout, just look around, count every sheep, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at every teammate, and then you will get information where to go. And I think that you will naturally adapt to supporting more aggression than automatically. I think you would have supported the Reaper more if you would have actually known what he's doing. But you're not looking at him enough for that to know. And I think that's the thing that's holding you back. Like, you run into a random Junkrat and you fight him, that's fine. Like, you walk here, but you look at this corner. But do you really need to look at this corner to walk here? Or can you also just walk sideways and look at your teammates? Yeah, of course, walking sideways is not hard. Look at the teammates and walk sideways. You also walk forward and you'll see the teammates. Like, try to gather more information. This is a behavioral change you need to implement into your game to look around sometimes. And looking around is a specific individual skill. It's not something that comes automatically. And if you look someone like ML7, he has such high APM, actions per minute, that he kind of left clicks, looks. Like he is so fast that he can look around between every individual shot and still aim. Like, he does it so often that he can get insane levels of speed with this. And you want also just implement looking around somewhat, that you can use it when you need it. And like now, you're not doing anything, so look around, get their information. And this is just something you really need to get into your mind and repeat it. Look for information, look for information, look for information. Like, this is something new, something your brain does not automatically, and it's tough to repeat it. And you need to repeat it until your brain starts doing it automatically. Like, if you start the game, you're not thinking anything, and you need to want to be at a place where you start automatically about look around, what's going on, get the information. Like, where's your Reaper? Who is aggressing? Where's the Soldier? Where's Reaper? Like, later on, it gets even more complex because you want to know where your tank is, because if you, for example, your Reaper is aggressing here, so you maybe go up here and support your Reaper, but you want to know where your tank is as a fallback later on. So it will get a little bit more complex, and you need just to get information. And this is something you want to do. Okay? I think this is enough for now. Try to check. Yes, it was a little bit more than 1 hour. That's our time goal we wanted to hit. So that's perfect. And this is, I would say, thank everyone for watching this What review so far.